5 games of the Sky Bet League One season remaining. Rovers are looking to end it with some pride in their performances following their slip into the bottom half of the table on Tuesday. Today they face another team with very little to play for, with what could be an opportunity for Andy Butler to experiment with his squad. It's Rovers against Fleetwood from 3 p.m. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Keepmoat Stadium. Thank you for joining us for our pre-match build-up to the game against Fleetwood Town in Sky Bet League One. Joining me on the show this afternoon, editor of the Free Press, Liam Hoden, and freelance sports journalist, Alex Gibbons. And we've got a jam-packed show coming up. Let's get straight into it then. The highlights from last weekend's win at Shrewsbury Town. Liam, the 2-0 win at Shrewsbury Town last weekend, the main headline coming from it, apart from the win, was that Andy Butler played himself at centre-half and did a very good job.
He did do a very good job, particularly given that he'd only trained for a couple of days before that, after 7 weeks of not being involved in training. It just brings that calm and composure to the back line, and I think it's highlighted just how much Rovers have missed that with him not being involved in playing matches. And that leadership and guidance on the pitch were very big too, and I think it certainly made a massive difference in terms of how switched on everybody stayed and just the general performance. Really, I think it were needed. He's
only trained twice in 7 weeks, Alex, but you wouldn't know it from looking at him, would you?
Yeah, it looked like he'd never been away. Obviously, not played in the last 7 weeks or so, but you know, like I say, it looked like he'd never been away, and you needed that experience there. I think that had been missing in recent weeks, and it showed in some of the performances. You know, the week before against Wigan, the 3 goals in the first half, they just looked so open in the defence, and then for Andy Butler to come back in, like I say, he slotted in perfectly, and he added that little bit more to the defensive line and got a well-deserved clean sheet in the end.
We picked up on iFollow the fact that even at 2-0 up with a few minutes to go, when the players were having a quick refreshment break due to a stoppage in play, he was going amongst the players and making sure they were still switched on, the younger players as well, in just making sure, listen, the job's not done yet, there's still work to do.
Yeah, and I think you need that in teams. You know, you look at the game before against Burton and you had young AJ and Brandon in the defensive line. You know, they did a good enough job and, you know, stepped up to the mark when they have, as a lot of the players have this season. But you need that experience there, you need that leadership, and Andy Butler's got that in abundance. And, you know, for him just to keep everyone going, to make sure they're all switched on, because even at 2-0 with sort of 5-10 minutes to go, that can be a dangerous scoreline as well. And if Shrewsbury get 1 goal, you know, they were back in the game, and it's that level head that you need sometimes just to see you over the line in games, especially when you've been on a bad run, and to get that win, it would have given him a lot of confidence.
In both the games that Andy Butler's played, Liam, Rovers haven't conceded from open play, which tells its own story, doesn't it? There seems to just be that solid foundation to build from.
Certainly does, and we saw that in the early part of the year, really, from the turn of the year, that so many of the performances were really built on that defensive solidity. They've lost that as well as losing the attacking threat up front, which has obviously led to the downfall. But Andy Butler has really brought that back in. It was difficult on Tuesday night against Accrington, a very dynamic front line, very busy, very in your face. But I thought in open play, as you said, they dealt with that quite well.
Taylor Richards on Saturday, Alex, seemed to just be given a free licence, didn't he, to go and play as he wanted to, essentially, because with that solid foundation, there isn't as much thought of what he has to do going back towards his own goal.
Yeah, and it was more of what we'd seen from Taylor Richards in sort of the December-January period. You know, he's got that ability to drive forward, as we know, and get those shots off from the edge of the box, and he showed that a lot on Saturday as well against Shrewsbury. You know, he battled well for the second goal, especially. He closed the defender down and won the ball, and then played a 1-2 affair, and it's in the back of the net, and you want that from him. That's probably what's been missing from him in recent weeks. You know, he's spent a lot of time on the bench as well, and he's not maybe had the impact he'd have liked in games, but, you know, for him to get that goal and get a good performance under his belt, that would give him a lot of confidence.
Now, as we know, the process of recruiting a new manager for Rovers is well underway, and here Chief Executive Gavin Baldwin has given an update as to how that will progress over the coming days and weeks. So Gavin, could you just give us a bit of an update as to where the club are at in the process of recruiting a new first team manager?
Yeah, sure. Closing date was Monday, 5 o'clock. We had 120 candidates or applicants. Very quickly, we whittled that down to 80. We basically scored each candidate against 6 objectives. To get through to the 80, you had to score highly in 4 of the objectives. Objectives included, did you expect, attracting players, developing players, football philosophy, ability to give us a top 6 finish, etc., etc. It's my job during the rest of this week to get that list down to a manageable number, because on Friday the board are meeting to agree who should go through to the first interview stage. At this stage, it looks like I'll be recommending 16 managers to the board, and as I say, I expect them to whittle that down to 5 or 6 on Friday, interviews next week. By the fact that I'm going to recommend 16 candidates, all have scored highly in 5 or 6 of the objectives. It's excellent. We've got candidates that are very, very well known and have a huge reputation in the game already. We've got up and coming candidates. So again, you know, we've got the experienced managers, and we've got the Grant McCanns of this world when we appointed Grant. So we've got the full spectrum for the board to consider. So yeah, very, very happy. And as I say, the number of applicants indicates the reputation that hopefully Doncaster Rovers has, and the number of people who want to come manage it. We obviously are very process driven, but we want to bring that to life and give it some personality. So I'm spending this week talking to people in football, whether that be players who've played for these managers, whether it be other managers who've worked with them in the past, coaches who've worked with them in the past. You know, we've spoken to players of League 2 teams, we've spoken to players of League 1 teams. Equally, we've spoken to managers that are as well known as they could possibly be in this country to take references. Because, you know, a CV is only words on paper. We want to bring that to life and understand the person and understand what their motivations for being here would be. Understand, you know, that they want to delight the fans. They want to play attractive football. But equally, they've got a philosophy that means we're going to win. So we're trying to get underneath the statistics at the moment, and that will all form part of, cliche word, due diligence that goes to the board. There'll be 16. We'll have intelligence that comes with it, and as I say, we will interview what I believe to be 5 or 6 excellent candidates, all of which could be future managers of Doncaster Rovers, and therefore in a fortunate position because the best one of the 6 will obviously be an excellent candidate.
So Liam, Gavin clearly very happy with the calibre of applicants that Rovers have received, and it's something for the fans to look forward to, isn't it? It's always a period that they're trying to find out news and information. Of course, you're the man to bring them that outside of the club. It's going to be a busy few weeks.
Certainly is, and it is an exciting period. You don't know, people don't know who's applied and who's going to be shortlisted in these next few days, and yeah, exciting times. We'll see what sort of the calibre. The calibre generally is very good for the applicants. Rovers have had some very good applicants for this job over the last few years, so it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
120 in total, Alex, but then it's quickly been whittled down to 80, and then, as Gavin said, 16 names will then be sent to the board to decide who's worthy of an interview. And if he's sending 16, it shows that people are really determined to become the next manager of this football club.
Yeah, and we've seen it with previous appointments, you know, the big names that have come in, and you know, you need someone that's going to come in and do a good job. And you know, there's obviously a high quality number of applicants that have been there, and the board have got a tough job now to whittle that down to the 16. You know, they need to find the right fit for the club. I think, you know, the people that will have applied know what the club's about and sort of the values that they've got, and it's sort of matching up that with the manager now.
It was interesting to hear Gavin talk as well about the fact that he's spoken to people at all different levels of football, people right at the top end and then right down to people still playing in League 2.
Yeah, they're very, very thorough. I know that they've done this in the past, you know, because there will be some people on there that they don't know an awful lot about, or even the ones that they do, finding out exactly how they operate, and that's key. They want somebody who is going to fit in with the ethos of this club, and as big as a name might be, or as much experience they might have got, they might not necessarily do that. But in speaking to people, doing your research, that's how you find out whether they are going to fit in with you.
And of course, everybody would have liked the 2 previous managers to stick around longer. However, you've got to find that middle ground, haven't you, in securing them long term, but not offering too much at once, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is difficult because you can look at it, and it's same with players that you kind of ride the rise of success and the wave of success with them, and hopefully you get success too, and you can go up. Getting promoted gives you a better chance of keeping them. But yeah, it's very, very difficult. I know people are desperate for some sustainability, but yeah, if people are successful, if you're a League One club, unfortunately, other people will come circling.
Are you impressed, Alex, by the speed of which Rovers are doing things? Because I know from the outside looking in, perhaps it was expected that they wouldn't even start this process until the season had finished. But to have it up and running already and be in a position where they could be able to appoint somebody by the end of the campaign, it shows that they're on the front foot with things like this.
Yeah, and I think you need that. And I think, the way that the fans have responded to it, I think it's been generally positive as well. There's the clear intent there that they are ready to get sort of something in place for the start of pre-season. We've seen it in the past where the managerial appointments come at the beginning of July, and by that time there's half of pre-season done and you're rushing around ready for the start of August. So it is key that Rovers have got this underway early, and hopefully they can find the right appointment through doing that.
Yeah, the man in charge at present, Andy Butler's come up against Fleetwood plenty of times in recent years, and he's expecting another tough battle this afternoon.
Very in-your-face, high-tempo team, and I expect them to be come right at us from the minute off. Like in any team in this division, if you don't start brightly, you're going to set yourself a mountain to climb. And I think, say with Fleetwood, every time we've played Fleetwood, if I'm being totally honest, they've been a bogey side for us. We've struggled to get results against them. Hopefully, we can turn it around on Saturday and then get a performance, because that's what I want more than anything—a performance that shows that the real grit and determination from a side that I'd like my side to play in as a club and as a fan base. I'd like to see, because the fans demand people to run through big walls from it, and so do I. Well, we started the game brightly, I think, at their pace. I think Jason Aquilo scored early on, and then obviously Tom took the concussion, which knocked the stuffing out a little bit, and then we never really performed, and I think individual mistakes cost us again in that game. But no, that's the past now. You can't change the past, so you can look towards the next game, and I've got to get my side ready for a big game at the weekend. Simon Grayson's an excellent manager, and he's doing well wherever he's been. He's had a great managerial career, and he will bring experience. But at the same time, he's got a good squad there that he trusts. I mean, I think they've tried to get rid of some of the big earners there as well. So he's bringing his own style, own philosophy into that club. So yeah, he's done really well. But my full focus is on my side and how I want them to play.
Liam, Andy mentioned in his press that Fleetwood somewhat of a bogey side for Rovers in recent years. They've sort of just done the dirty work, haven't they, in games against us. I remember the one with Grant McCann in charge a couple of years back, the 4-0 down here, where they probably had 4 shots at goal and they all went in on that day.
Yeah, they always seem, no matter who's in charge of Fleetwood, to have Rovers' number. It were the same, obviously, at their place earlier in the season. Simon Grayson had not been in there particularly long, but kind of picked up from where Joey Barton left off in terms of how he dealt with the test of facing Rovers. It's going to be a battle. I think Tuesday night at Accrington's probably been a good preparation for this one. Going to be very, very similar. It's an opposition that's high energy and gets right in your face, and that's what Rovers are going to face again today against Fleetwood. They're
a club in transition, Alex, aren't they, really? I think Butts said again that they've got rid of a couple of high earners. The likes of Paddy Madden and Ched Evans have been moved on in recent months. So a club similar to Rovers, really, with players obviously on loan and out of contract at the end of the season. And interesting to see what happens with them in the summer.
Yeah, of course. And, Simon Grayson's gone in there and has done a steady job since he's come in. And, he got his first win against Rovers, I think it was, the other month. So, it's a rebuilding job for him there. But Rovers will be wary of that today. I think like we said, they are a bogey team for them, and we saw it again with Accrington on Tuesday night. And another bogey team where in the second half the improvements on the performance was there to see, and it was just unfortunate in the end that of what happened. But Rovers will need to be switched on today.
Off the field and away from Rovers for a few minutes now, Club Doncaster Foundation have been busy during lockdown in keeping people active, culminating in Lauren Cuttle winning the Doncaster Business Hero Award. And here she is talking about that award and the work her and her colleagues have done.
So when the lockdown restrictions were first imposed, obviously the world went into a manic craze. What do we do? So we put stuff in place a few weeks before. So we made some home cooking tutorials for some healthy snacks, meals. We launched the Home Goals Facebook page, which on there we posted pre-recorded workouts. We did some live Zoom workouts as well. So we really tried as a foundation to reach as many people as possible. And then we run our social isolation project as well. So reaching people that don't have access to social media and things like that. So we made some food parcels, some DRC clothing. We even put like little memory sticks and put loads of workouts on there and sent them to the home address. Just garden gate conversations, things like that. So the team put me up for nomination for the awards. Didn't expect to win it. It was up against some good nominations, some big companies as well. So the night was really good. It was obviously all held on Zoom. Sent the link out to all my family, friends, all our participants, so all them lot could watch and vote at the same time. And obviously must have got some really good votes in because managed to win the award, which is fantastic. Never in a million years did I think that award. But yeah, just still got a smile on my face now.
So congratulations go to Lauren, and elsewhere the community work continues. Throughout April, Club Doncaster is supporting Amnesty International's football welcomes, and earlier this month players from the Football Welcomes project were able to return to sessions at the Club Doncaster Academy pitches.
After a long time, lockdown, and we come back to our first time. It was like feeling very lonely without football and without any exercise out house, so it was very hard.
It was a while with all the stress from the lockdown, missing friends, missing football, especially to more socialize with others. So for me to be back again in the pitch is like coming from a nightmare. Then you wake up. So for me, it's very good.
People seeking asylum do not have the internet. They do not have a television, and the isolation, it has been huge. It's made a huge impact on lives. So I cannot put into words what I feel today. Just this opportunity that you guys give is bigger than I can really express. It's the freedom that it brings them. I remember when somebody said, "Why do you like football?" And when he said, "I feel free." When I think about these guys, that is one of the biggest things that anybody could say.
Football is not only run and play, it's about socialize with others. So, with all these rules, you couldn't socialize with friends. So now here we can socialize, we can laugh, we can run together, and actually it's what we was missing for a long time.
We say thank you for Doncaster Rovers to support this foundation, and we're so happy to be here.
So Liam, 5 games to go. A big one for Rovers this afternoon, and although it looks like the top 6 are slipping away, Andy Butler and his players won't say it, but I think the gap is pretty significant now, isn't it? And it is about ending this season with some momentum.
I think it is, and Andy's talked about playing for pride, and I think it'll be so good for everybody just to have a positive end to the season. It has been a frustrating couple of months, but to finish on a bit of a high with a bit of a momentum going into the summer, that'd be great. And the thing is, it looks like it's gone, the top 6. In all likelihood it has, but you never know. You know what I mean? If they've got to give themselves an opportunity while it's still alive. It's very, very unlikely. But you never know. You'd kick yourself if you were in a position and you were watching teams above you drop points and thinking, if we'd have strung a few results there together, we'd have made it in.
Alex, although there is 5 games remaining, this is Rovers' second to last home game, isn't it? So there's not that much time left in the season, a couple of weeks, if that.
Yeah, and you want to give the fans a good send-off at home. Obviously, it's a shame that there's no one here to enjoy the last couple of games as well. But, there is some big games coming up, and, you look at, like Liam just said about the playoffs, there's teams above that can slip up. Obviously, it'd be a big ask for them to do it, but then you look at 3 Rovers remaining, 3 out of the 5, and you've got 2 games with the team that are in second and another team that are there in the playoffs. So, you're not looking at the top 2, but, to get into that the top 6, like we say, yeah, it would be a big ask, but if you can string some good results together, there's no reason why you can't try and push up as high as you can and just make it a good end to the season, because it has been a good season. You know, when you look at all things considered, obviously the last sort of 6-7 weeks aside, it's been a turbulent period these last few weeks, but you know, that aside, it has been a good season for Rovers, with everything as well that's gone on sort of over the course of the season. You know, like I say, no fans. It's just like the amount of the volume of games, just everything. You know, just to get a good end to the season would be fantastic.
And of course, it's not only 5 games remaining of Rovers' season. There's 5 games remaining of a certain number 26 on the banner behind you football career, which has in itself a lot of significance for the football club. Yeah,
definitely. You know, like for myself, obviously a Rovers fan, Cops has been there throughout the whole time that I've supported the club. So, you know, for the fans again not to be here for that final game, it is sad, but just for him to be able to play those last few games and hopefully, you know, send the fans off with something to remember him by. You know, he's done a lot for the club, as we know, both on and off the pitch, and it'd be fantastic for him if they can just get a good end to the year.
Yeah, and today's match day VIP is Luke Dickinson. We hope you have a brilliant day, Luke. Hopefully 3 points in the bag from Rovers as well. And lads, how do you see it going then? One against Fleetwood, always hard to predict, isn't it, with 2 teams who, as we said, are sort of mid-table-ish. What do you reckon, Liam?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be a battle. I've got a feeling it'll be tight. But I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to go for a Rovers win.
Alex?
I think I'd probably go the same. I think, you know, you need to get over those bogey sides at some time. And it is going to be a tight game, and you know, it'll be interesting to see what the lineup is this afternoon, and hopefully it is a strong one. You know, we said it against Shrewsbury last week, and we've said it in other games. You know, that first goal, or you know, making that good start is crucial, and you need to do that if you are to go on and win the game. So hopefully Rovers can maybe go and nick it 1-0 perhaps.
Liam, Alex, thank you for your company. Thank you at home for watching on as well. Head over to I Follow Rovers now as Rovers take on Fleetwood from 3 p.m.
Club Doncaster Foundation, Doncaster Rovers, the Dons and the Bells are all supporting Amnesty's Football Welcomes again this year.
There isn't much that can compare to football or any sport when it comes to bringing people together.
It's a universal language that can play an important role in creating respect and friendships across cultures.
Being part of a team can help you make friends and feel connected to the community.
Imagine how important that is if you've had to flee conflict or persecution and leave everything behind.
Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from.
Anyone who has come to Doncaster to rebuild their life in safety is welcome.
We hope you make this your home.